Welcome to What's Going On, the weekly podcast and videocast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of What's Going On. I'm Pastor Katie here at First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota, and I'm so glad that you have joined us on this podcast. Today, I have a very special guest with me. If you've kind of been around our church, you've kind of maybe heard whispers here and there that we've hired a new praise team director. And so I have her here with us today. Her name is Sara Klawonn. Sara, it's so nice to have you with us.
Well, it is great to be talking to you.
So I'm going to jump right in because I'm sure all of you are more interested in getting to know Sara a little bit. And then I'll save sort of my other announcements for the end. And so I want you to stick around through the podcast so you know what's going on in the life of the church. But Sara, so this is going to be your first Sunday with us this coming Sunday, April 11th. I had to think about it for a second, what day that was. And so we're just so glad to have you join us on staff here at the church. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you, where you come from, kind of, maybe let's start with that. Where do you come from, Sara?
Well, I think my hometown could be claimed Sioux Falls, because that's where I was born and I grew up. I'm adopted, and my parents were amazing. Mom, very English, came over on the Mayflower, kind of English. And my dad was full-blooded German, and then they adopted a little girl that turned out to be Irish Norwegian, and wanted to eat every Norwegian food she could get her hands on at the Nordland Fest. So I don't know if they ever quite knew what to do with me, but I just know they nurtured just about anything that I wanted to do.
So let's pause for a second. Does that mean that you eat lutefisk?
I love lutefisk. I love it. Like I love it. I would never eat it without butter.
Well, does anybody?
I hope not, but I do love a lot of the Norwegian foods. I don't know why, except that maybe it's all genetic and it does flow from deep in my DNA, but love Roma Grot. I love lefse, make it. Yeah,
I grew up, actually, my family grew up making lefse every fall. My grandmother is Norwegian descent, and that was a big part of my life growing up. And so I grew up also in churches that had like lutefisk suppers, and I never would be in the building for that. So,
well, if you were to say, do you want lutefisk or do you want torsk? I would say torsk. But I do love them both.
All right, so we've got that in common. We've already established that we've got Norwegian ancestry in common, and so where are you now? What are you doing now apart from starting this crazy adventure here at our church?
At this point in my life, I think I'm a little bit of everything. I have 8 children and currently 1 foster child. So I had 4 children. I affectionately call them the ones out of my ovaries. And then there were the 4 that we were able to keep from our hearts. And I never thought I would have this many children, but it has just been the best. So I have goats. Oh my gosh, I was out milking them this morning. Love my goats. They're Oberhasleys and they're beautiful. And I don't care what anyone says, they're the best breed. And I don't know, we live on about 30 acres. And we just will raise just about anything. So I think everybody enjoys that crazy kind of Ma and Pa kettle life that we have going on.
And your farm is outside of Viborg, is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yes. Viborg is an amazing little community. I had never experienced such connectiveness between churches. I mean, they do Lenten services together, they do a lot of other services together. They look for ways to do things interdenominationally. And so it's just been a joy for me to just be in all these different churches and to have fellowship with all those um, different ways of worshiping even.
And you've been very active with the church throughout your life, either working in churches
Yeah.
or you're also a pastor's wife, and that's its own ministry. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. I'm I think I'm really, really, really relieved that Kent decided not to be a pastor when he was just out of college and didn't become a pastor until much later in life, because then I know I was ready for it too. And but my kids have always assumed they were PKs. Just because we were always in church, they were always sitting in the pews, you know, always had all kinds of music playing in the house, but we were, we'd always go to Christian music festivals. And um, so, I mean, they always thought they were PKs. I was like, no, 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 that didn't happen for a long time. No.
but it was maybe a natural transition for
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
So your husband is a pastor in Viborg.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. At Bethany Lutheran in Viborg. Yeah. Lovely, very welcoming church. I just can't imagine. They're so supportive. I mean, you know what it's like. You've got that at your church too, and I think that's one of the things that maybe we don't sell well enough, if you want to call it sell. I mean, obviously, what brings you in is that relationship with Christ, but the bonus round is that family
mhm.
that's there for you through the highs and lows of your life. And I think that's what church um I just keep trying to tell people, just you really truly don't know what you're missing. It's like any family relationship, any blending at first, but you're always going to be glad that you either got into a church, got into a faith family, or came back,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think honestly, I think our faith is meant to be lived out in that way, that we're never meant to be on our own, that we are designed to be in community. That's when because you need those times. You need those times when other people help to carry you, and you need those times where you are the one helping to carry someone else. And they're both needed and they're both fulfilling in their own ways. And so I cannot agree more with that. Um, and so uh, tell us a little bit about your musical background and how you came to find yourself being hired here.
Okay, well, again, I've always loved church worship and music. Thank God my parents honored my choice of piano over ballet when I was a kindergartner. And just always played in churches, loved it when I was a lot younger. Um, Thoroughly enjoyed directing music at Zion in Sioux Falls. And my favorite part of that job was just all the different groups, all the ways to get people involved. And, just always tried to plug in wherever we were, however much I could do as a mother. The How I came to be your guys's praise team director is like it's either like God's will or just crazy. But I don't know if you ever read the book Crazy Love, but I do believe that is the way God works.
Mm-hmm.
I was up looking at Facebook jobs, and there was this part-time worship leader job, and it had the little blue square that said apply. And I assumed that that just meant I could go to your website and look at it and, like drool over it. No, 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 no. It sent my contact information to you guys.
Yeah.
And so and as soon as I clicked the button and it said sent to, I was like, and so then I didn't expect to hear back from you guys because there wasn't a resume. Like, you didn't know me from Adam. And then when I did get the voicemail, I believe it was from Christy. Like, I was so stunned. And so I gave it time. Again, that's not like me. I'm pretty ADHD. It's like but I'm trying to get better on that because that's supposed to be like a virtue. But I gave it time, and I thought, okay, I've got to like reply back. And so when I left a voicemail, as I understand it, it was when a group was praying over, to bring us someone, the right person. I pray that that's what I am, because I do know, just the few times I've met with the praise team members that have been doing it in the past. I mean, what a joy, and to just think, okay, so maybe what I do makes what they already are able to do just more worshipful, more enjoyable, more freeing. So that's how I ended up here, which is a little crazy.
But that's how, I agree. That's how God works.
Yeah.
And yeah, we definitely paid attention to that and noticed that right away. That was Christy Polachek, who's the chair of our SPR, that's the committee that does our hiring and interviewing and all of that. And she and I had that conversation that night of, we need to pay attention to this. This came at a time that we really believe that God's hand has been in this. And the longer that we've been in this process, the more and more that we believe that this is God's timing, that this is God's plan. And I'm just super excited to have the praise team back. I know that they've been itching to get together again and play. And now that we've been able to be singing together, that's been a possibility. And I know that for many, this is very exciting news. And I am really looking forward to worship this Sunday and getting to have that element back, because I've missed it. So you've kind of got some big plans for some of how we're going to be moving forward with praise music and some opportunities for people. So do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah, I think April and May, definitely there'll be a schedule put out shortly with, and you and I have talked about songs even already. Just so exciting to be able to plan all that. April and May, I would love if people wanted to let me know what they're dying to do with praise team. I am so appreciative of all the members that have already come out, talked to me, already worked, and so we're plugging everybody in, especially in April and May. It'll probably feel like it's everybody you've seen from a year ago in April and May, but that's just to ease into things. June, July, and August, I really want to push to try to figure out gifts, talents, and abilities of anybody, to try to, again, during those months, to really work more people into praise team groups. I grew up with a pastor that always said, God is interested in quantity, not quality. And that is, you might need to actually know how to play the instrument that you're picking up. But I think there is something to when there are more, and God works through that. So I'm just so hopeful that there are people, in this church that maybe have been hesitating a little bit, don't. You'll see me on Sunday. If I can do it, anybody can. Hello. And I just think you have to love it, because that's where all gifts and I mean, for the I am not gifted to be on altar committee. I I I do not care if the paraments are hung straight. I don't even know if that's what they're called. I just know that the fabric on different parts change color and they're lovely. And I truly value the workmanship that goes into so many of those, especially if someone makes them. I love um, big felt banners. My mother used to make them. I am not gifted to do that at all, not even close. Um, but you sit me down at a piano and you start working with a group of people, and I just come back from it and I know I'm fed. And that's what I hope for so many others. And even if you're not an actual part of the praise team, quote unquote, if you're singing, you are. And from the pews you are. And God loves that when we make that joyful noise. So just can't wait.
Yeah, I was actually thinking this morning as I was out walking about how, the act of worship is the people's work, that when we worship God together, it's all of us doing that work together. Those of us who are up front are there to, I think oftentimes I sort of see myself as a bit of like the ringleader or the MC for the night or the day, that I'm the one that's got the plan in my head and kind of transitioning everything, and but that it's all of our work to do together, and that with the music, that it's not a performance, it's something for all of us to do together, and that those that are up front are just there to help serve you in leading you into that time and into that place of coming before God in music. Um, and so I'm really excited, and you're absolutely right that this is the best time, that if that's something that you've always kind of been interested in, but it felt like um, you know, one, because we have some pretty incredible musicians in this church, like hands down, we just do. But we also want to lift up and to give opportunity for everyone, that if that's something that's on your heart to do, or if you're like, I'd like to give it a try, we want you to do that. This is the time to do that. Because the more people that we can participate, part of it is just logistics. It helps so that not everyone gets burnt out from being on every week, or if they're gone, or the more people, the less time commitment it is for every single person. And we've got, maybe you want to play the maracas, like you don't necessarily have to have a lot of, you have to have rhythm, which I lack. So don't give me the maracas. But I'm very excited about where we're headed and where we're going with all of this. So this summer is the big one, though. If you are interested, we'll be working on that over the summer to really find your place in the praise team, and we'll find it.
Yeah. And I think I'm so hopeful, so excited to work hand in hand with the traditional service too. There's just so many blended crossover songs that I just in my head, I just could so imagine almost, a traditional choir being a part of the contemporary song, or vice versa, or whatever. I, that to me has always just been a goal, that there's never, it's not just contemporary and just traditional. It is all worship.
All
That's
work.
it.
And
It's
we're all
all
one church. We're
Yep.
all one church.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm super excited. If you haven't figured out already, I've been here 9 months. It's been the weirdest 9 months of ministry in my entire life. I'm not gonna lie, not because of the church, but because of the conditions of the world during this time. But I like to try things. I like to be creative. I like to make worship experiential. That's why we have kind of our Mary Poppins moment. We have umbrellas all over our sanctuary now for our Easter season, and I'm so excited. And grateful to the trustees in particular for helping me execute that vision, because I can get ideas for things, but I always need someone else to kind of help me make it come to life. And they did a wonderful job with that. But you know, I like the opportunity of allowing people to find their ways of honoring God with what they have and the gifts that they have. And I always want to be open to what we have, the gifts that we have available in our church now with the people that we have here. And I know that there are so many opportunities and so many talented, wonderful people that have something to bring to God, and to be able to bring that forward and to lift that up and honor God with it just makes me super excited, because every church that I serve, you know, it's different because the people are different and what we are able to do is unique. And I'm excited for what Yankton, what we've done and what we have yet to do, because I just know that God has been moving in some pretty powerful ways. And I think Sarah is a big part of that. We've brought on some pretty incredible people. We, you know, bringing on Tiffany more into the life of the church and youth ministry, and now having Sarah on staff. I just continue to see us utilizing the people of this church in ways that can stretch and grow us, and hopefully reach new people for Christ, but also to deepen the faith of those who are here. I mean, that's always our number one goal, is to find new disciples and to uh, deepen the relationship with God with the disciples we do have. So, Sarah, I've enjoyed every time that we've gotten to visit, and you know, I feel like we always have stories to go back for. It just makes me so happy. Um, just a couple of things that are happening. One thing in particular that's happening in the church this week that I do want to lift up today is that there is a women's conference that we're going to be streaming on Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30. And I believe right now we're going to have it here at the church. And it's called More Jesus, Less Sugar Women's Conference, focusing on faith, health, and leadership, which are all good things. And so I'm excited about that. I'm planning to be there. Don't let that be a discouragement. I hope that you, if you're interested, all you have to do, there's an email that went out, or you can check out our Facebook page and there's a link just to quickly register. The registration, it's free to come. It's more for us to kind of plan accordingly with space needs. If we have a lot of people, we need to make sure we have space for that. If we have a smaller amount, we might shift around a little bit. So if you're interested in doing that, just let us know. You can even just call the church and let us know too. That would be fine. And we have confirmation tonight, because this is Wednesday. After Easter, I get really confused on the days of the week. I don't know. We have youth group. Tonight, youth group, I believe, is Rebecca Gravholt. So Amanda, Rebecca's daughter, is coming. She's a college student at USD, finishing up, I believe, her nursing degree, if I'm not mistaken. Will be coming to talk about being a disciple of Christ in college and what that's been like, and how to kind of own and live out your faith as a young adult. And so that's going to be really fun. And I've just been really impressed with the people that Tiffany's been bringing in for our youth ministry stuff. And children's church starts this week, which is super exciting. So during the first service, after the children's message, the kids can go down to the hall and have their own time of worship. And it's kind of their Sunday school time through the end of the first service. So they'll end around 10 o'clock whenever church ends. And so then you can pick up your kids on your way out. And that's for preschool age through 5th grade. And I'm super excited about that because I've been told that my boys can go. So I think if anyone's more excited about it, it's probably my husband. But I'm just super grateful for the children's team for the work that they're doing to get that ready to go, and still doing 605 twice a month as well. So lots of things are happening. And I hope this Sunday, if you're around for the first service, that you say hi to Sarah. Do know that she will have to probably run off to go back to Viber to be in worship as well with her church there. So don't take it the wrong way if she has to skedaddle, but I hope that you do welcome her and make her feel welcome at the church. So Sarah, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you. It was fun. I think I only had 2 kids pop in. That's pretty good for me.
Yeah, well, when you have 8, which again, this is my response to anything is like, do you think she can handle that? And my response is always, she has 8 kids. She can handle it.
After 3, it's just numbers. So yeah.
I have 2 and I struggle sometimes. So, but it's truly a blessing. And thanks for joining us for this episode of What's Going On. And we hope to see you this Sunday. Thank you for joining us on this episode of What's Going On, a video and audio podcast of First United Methodist Church in Yankton, South Dakota. We'd love to have you join us for worship on Sundays, and we have 2 options available. 9 a.m. is our contemporary service, and 10:30 a.m. is our traditional service. You can find those online as well at our website, www.firstumcyankton.org, or on YouTube.